Isaac Newton stuck needles in his eye. Isaac Newton, the scientist who discovered gravity, was very curious about how things worked. To study light and color, he once stuck a needle, a blunt one thankfully, between his eye and his eyelid. He wanted to see how the pressure would affect his vision. Thankfully, he didn't damage his eye, but it's definitely not something to try at home. Marie Curie's notebooks are still radioactive. Marie Curie, the scientist who discovered radium and polonium, worked with radioactive materials her whole life. Her notebooks, clothes, and even her cookbook are still so radioactive that they're stored in lead-lined boxes. To see them, you need to sign a waiver and wear protective gear. Nikola Tesla had a strange obsession with the number 3. Nikola Tesla, the inventor and electrical genius, was obsessed with the number 3. He would often walk around a building 3 times before entering, clean his plates with 18 napkins, 18 is divisible by 3, and stay in hotel 3 rooms with numbers divisible by 3. He believed this ritual would bring him good luck and help him think better. Leonardo da Vinci wrote backwards. Leonardo da Vinci left behind around 6,000 pages of notes when he died. The strange thing, he wrote them backward, so you'd need a mirror to read them. People often think he did this to keep his work secret, but the real reason is simpler. He was left-handed, and writing backward helped him avoid smudging the ink as he wrote. Beethoven heard music through his body. By the time Beethoven was 45, he was completely deaf. But that didn't stop him from composing music. He came up with a clever way to hear the music. He attached a metal rod to his piano, bit down on it, and pressed his legs against the piano. This let him feel the vibrations and rhythms of the music, even though he couldn't hear it with his ears. Both of these geniuses found unique ways to overcome challenges and keep creating. Albert Einstein's brain was stolen. After Albert Einstein died in 1955, the scientist who performed his autopsy, Thomas Harvey, secretly removed Einstein's brain without permission. He kept it for decades, hoping to study what made Einstein so brilliant. While some studies suggested parts of his brain were unique, no one has ever fully figured out what made him such a genius. Charles Dickens couldn't work without his lucky charm. The famous author of A Christmas Carol and Oliver Twist had a very specific routine. He always carried a compass with him and made sure to face north while writing. He also had to touch certain objects 3 times for good luck. If his routine was interrupted, he believed it would ruin his writing for the day. Pablo Picasso was buried under a castle. Pablo Picasso, the famous artist, didn't have a typical funeral. When he died in 1973, he was buried under a castle in France called Château de Vauvenargues. He bought the castle because it was near a mountain that reminded him of one of his favorite subjects to paint. Even in death, he wanted to be surrounded by inspiration. Geniuses often have strange habits or quirks, but it's part of what makes them so fascinating. Let me know if you want more fun facts.